I would like to express appreciation to WIU ROTC Color Guard and soloist Evelyn Ortman. Evelyn is from Moberly, Missouri, is a junior pursuing a bachelor's degree in music and music therapy. I'd like to thank her for the wonderful job. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to start today by thanking those among us who, despite the risk, sacrifice, raise their right hand to serve and defend this beautiful country. Our veterans, active duty service member, guardsmen, reservists, your service has helped this country and its citizens stay safe and free. If you're able, please stand and be recognized. I would also like to take a moment to acknowledge those families of service members and veterans who have helped shoulder the weight of war, the burdens of sacrifice. To the mothers, fathers, spouses, and children of our military men and women, thank you. Your love, support, resilience, and backbone of this nation is something that must not be forgotten. At this point, I'd take a moment to introduce someone that's going to give our invocation. Captain Ronald Pettigrew. Western Illinois University Veterans Resource Center and Navy Chaplain Captain Ron Pettigrew will be performing the invocation for today's ceremony. Ron has multiple deployments, years of sea duty, and hours of combat and direct support of combat operations, both active and reserve, and is currently assigned to the Reserve Duty Chaplain for the U.S. Navy's 7th Fleet and United States Navy's largest area of operation. Please, let's welcome Ron Pettigrew.
Let us pray. Almighty God, I ask you to bless all gathered here for this ceremony. With its upcoming moment of silence, taps, presentation of our speaker, and greetings from the provost and others, as well as those who have served or are serving. As there is always in a field, on a ship, or a plane, a soldier, sailor, airman, guardsman, or marine standing watch in a harm's way for our nation, help us to take a few moments to honor those who serve. Help us to honor all of them. Lord, I ask that you would pour forth your blessings, not just on them, but also on every family, as John also spoke to. Help us to not forget, but to remember our brothers, our sisters, sons, and daughters who have fallen and are continue to serve, to impart their patriotism, friendship, and being part of something bigger than ourselves as part of who we are. As we are just a few years past the conclusion of America's longest war, a pandemic and domestic unrest in our nation, I ask you, Lord, to help us honor those who have stood with courage to enlist, safeguard, and continue to defend our nation, to never forget them, particularly those who have served in places such as Afghanistan, Iraq, Vietnam, and Korea. As one of those who came back, help me and those who are gathered to remember those who have not only wounds in a physical sense, but mental and spiritual ones. I ask you, based on their heroic example, help us to be gracious and display a culture of respect. Help us to be intentional in our support and not forget, and as we have done with veterans in the past, cause us to look deep within ourselves and remember those who have served and are continuing to. In your name I pray, amen. With that being shared, I also want to say it's not just those who have served and their families. It's also all of you that allow us to continue to serve and support us, that make us who we are. With that in mind, I'm not going to ask them to stand to embarrass, but one of the things that makes Western tremendously great is I don't do my job by myself. I have a team of military liaisons and other people who work with me. Can I just see from a show of hands those who serve as military liaisons and support us in the things that we do to take care of our veterans? I'd like to recognize them. And in that same way, at this time, I'd like to welcome the Military Appreciation Club President, Kay Reed, to the podium. Kay is a fifth-year senior working toward a bachelor's in general studies. Kay has served as the president of the Military Appreciation Club, vice president of the Military Appreciation Club last year, and was elected president this school year. Kay.
Good morning. As Ron said, my name is Kay. I am the current president of the Military Appreciation Club. Some of you might know it as the Veterans Club. This is an old shirt. We're working on getting updated ones, but the club is one and the same. The club has a long-standing presence on campus. We are the oldest established student organization that has been continuously functioning since its inception, and we're very proud of that. Our goal as a club is just to socialize veteran students and students that are still currently serving. I see us as kind of a stepping stone. We do things like we host events, we have socials with other organizations, we participate in homecoming, the Fallen Soldiers 5K, all that good stuff. We have formal meetings, we have non-formal meetings, and informal meetings we just hang out and do stuff like that. But I see it again as a stepping stone because some of our members aren't in the club for the long run. They're only with us for a semester, but they go on to get involved in things like Greek life, SGA, IHC, sports clubs, stuff like that. And I really see that as a win because anything we can do to help them to acclimate to campus life is mission success. I would also like to recognize somebody else out in the crowd, and that is our faculty advisor, Dr. Robinette. And I'm going to hear about this later, but I just want to thank him because he really helps us out a lot. And without our faculty advisor, we probably wouldn't get to do a lot of the things that we do because I like to dream high and he likes to bring me back down to earth and really center me. And so I get these crazy big dreams and he tells me what's actually attainable. So thank you, Dr. Robinette. And if I could... And if I could ramble for just one more minute. Today we wear our yellow ribbons to recognize veterans of all wars, all service levels, past, current, that sort of thing. And it really just encompasses the whole. It doesn't matter the branch or your rank or anything like that. We wear the yellow ribbon for them. But if you have any sort of contact with a student veteran, I would encourage you to not only just wear your ribbon to show your support, but also to just mention something to them, but just give them more verbal, more tangible support, because a lot of the people that have served or are still serving that are my age don't really believe that they are worthy of the title veteran, or they don't think that they deserve the distinction or any sort of thank you, even though they've made their own sacrifices, and so is their family for them to serve. So if you have any sort of contact with any sort of military-affiliated student, I would encourage you just to give them more of a tangible show of support, because a lot of them don't think that this day is about them, even though it is. So thank you for being here, and thank you for wearing your yellow ribbons. I have a whole bag of extra ones if anybody would like one to wear today at the end. Thank you.
I would like to take a moment to introduce Dr. Manacher Zogi, who serves as our Provost and Academic Vice President of Western Illinois University. Dr. Zogi was the Dean of the College of Engineering, Technology, Computer Science at Purdue University, Fort Wayne, Indiana since 2016, where he led the college to launch its inaugural strategic plan, founded in the School of Polytechnic, and launched partnerships with K-12 schools, community colleges, and industries. He served as a member of leadership teams for institution's strategic plan and was co-chair at Purdue Fort Wayne Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Planning Team. Prior to joining Purdue Fort Wayne, Dr. Zogi served numerous administrative and faculty roles at California State University Fresno, Idaho State University, and the University of Dayton. Please welcome Dr. Zogi.
Thank you. Good morning and welcome. Thank you so much for your support. As we all know, Western Illinois University has a long and rich tradition of honoring and serving veterans and active members of the armed forces. We are very proud of our students, faculty, staff, and alumni veterans, and those who are current active members. In fact, I was thrilled to find out that Western is a military-friendly institution and has earned the distinction as a Best for Vets college. Veterans have a special place in my heart. As my colleague mentioned, I came from Purdue University, Fort Wayne, which is also recognized as a gold-level military-friendly school. I had the privilege of working closely with our veterans. ROTC reported directly to me, and one of our faculty members in the organizational leadership in my college, Dr. Michael Kirshner, who championed the veterans and his research focused on veterans at Purdue Fort Wayne. Together, we launched several very unique and highly successful initiatives on campus, which I'd like to pursue here at Western in the coming months and years. It is now my great pleasure to introduce this year's speaker, Mr. Tim Hallinan, a WIU alumnus and director of alumni annual giving at Western. Mr. Hallinan's military service includes more than 20 years of reserve component duty, beginning in 1987 with the 339th MP Company in Davenport, Iowa, and later assignment to the 2nd Squadron 106 Cavalry Unit in Quilley, Illinois, where he served the majority of his career as Battalion Communications Chief, before retiring from service at the rank of Sergeant First Class in 2007. Mr. Hallinan currently serves on a team of 25 WIU military liaisons who volunteer their time and talent to support the initiatives of our Veterans Resource Center and provide assistance to military service students across the WI campuses. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Hallinan to the podium.
Thank you, Provost Zogi, and welcome to campus, Representative Noreen Hammond, also Macomb Mayor Mike Inman, Police Chief Gerald Jones, Lieutenant Oborski, Master Sergeant Sykes, our Vice Presidents, Deans, Directors, Faculty, and Staff. Last but certainly not least, our students and our veterans. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of this day's observance, remembrance, and reflection, a day set aside to honor all military veterans, living and deceased, who have honorably served our nation in war and in peacetime. But as we do so, let us not forget any prisoner of war or those missing in action that did not return home. It was suggested that I briefly share my personal experience becoming a soldier and its impact on my life. And as a fundraiser, I'm much more proficient in communicating other people's experiences rather than my own, in hopes of putting together a positive message, but with your permission, I'll try. Okay. In my childhood, the concept of planning was not necessarily my specialty. Those that work with me will say that it's still not my specialty. Mac Price, I am looking at you. Okay. However, Admittedly, I was slow to mature to the importance of planning and successfully navigating those challenges in life that face young people, both large and small. And you see, when many young adults fail to grasp the concept of planning, they also cannot predict. And when they cannot predict, they cannot identify that cause and effect. And with the inability to identify cause and effect, they cannot identify consequence. And when they cannot identify consequences, it becomes difficult to control impulsivity. And with that inability to control impulsivity, there's that inclination towards delinquent behavior. And such was the blueprint from some of my formative years. So, for the sake of time and personal discomfiture, and more importantly, for the sake of my mom who is watching online, we're going to skip the details of my teen years to my decision to join the military at the age of 18. Okay. Upon reporting to Fort Sill, Oklahoma for basic training in 1988, I soon learned that the military and my drill sergeants provided me with so much more than a superhuman ability to finish a meal within 60 seconds. So much more than an irrational fear of walking on grass, going outside without a hat on, or putting my hands in my pockets, or leaving a locker unlocked. Thank you, Drill Sergeant Wiggum, wherever you may be. He's behind me right now, isn't he? Okay. Decades later, I would not be surprised. What I found, in all seriousness, was that a new soldier, or airman, or sailor, or Marine, learns very quickly how to plan. And in knowing how to plan, they can predict how they need to spend their time and resources to achieve their mission. With this ability to predict, they can also determine that cause and effect of achieving or not achieving that mission, and by determining that cause and effect, they minimize the need to be impulsive in their decision-making. And by determining cause and effect, when they can control their impulsivity, they are much more likely to make sound decisions to achieve their mission. Such became the blueprint for my adulthood. My journey as a first-generation college student here at Western Illinois University, and like many veterans, my personal and professional life. And my story is certainly not unique, and many of our veterans, as they leave service, those skills are much more refined than mine are. But today there are around 19 million U.S. veterans, according to data from the Department of Veterans Affairs, representing less than 10% of the total U.S. population. Each of them possess those unique skills and positive traits that can benefit the organizations they choose to align themselves with when they leave service, and also those organizations that give them a chance. We're fortunate to have more than 5,000 current and former servicemen and women connected to Western Illinois University as alumni, faculty, staff, administrators, and of course our students. I'm proud to be among this group of 5,000 and grateful that Western gave me a chance, and grateful to serve this university that has rightfully been named a military-friendly school for 12 consecutive years. To our Western veterans, although we are grateful for you every day, today we especially remember all you've done for our country, our communities, and our university, and continue to do often unasked. Your influence on our university culture cannot be overstated. Our student veterans bring valuable experiences and insights to Western every day. They enhance classroom discussions and contribute to our campus community with their unique background and perspectives developed through their military experiences. Our faculty and instructors contribute their exceptional skills and knowledge to our educational landscape, bringing an appreciation for the importance of education, adaptability, and mentoring, qualities which all veterans value and our students and colleagues benefit. And much like in our military, our staff and administrators display a dedication to collaboration, teamwork, and perseverance, and get the job done and get it done well. And just like in the military, that often means getting the job done with resources provided to us by the lowest bidder. So, let's not forget our athletic coaches who teach and model the importance of leadership, teamwork, discipline and commitment, determination and competitiveness, and the student athletes who carry those values onto the courts, the tracks, and the fields on which they compete with the fierceness of a soldier in battle, and as the only athletics team to bear the name Leatherneck. Speaking of Leatherneck, the Marine Corps nickname Leatherneck and Bulldog mascot afforded to us by the Department of the Navy at the request of legendary coach and athletic director, Colonel Ray Rock Hansen. Hansen himself, a decorated war hero of both world wars, once saved a comrade who was seriously wounded in the leg by enemy machine gun fire. He advanced outside of into enemy machine gun fire and stopped the bleeding and carried his comrade to safety. This is an act of heroism that earned him the Navy Cross, among many other honors, including the Purple Heart. There was another time that Colonel Hansen was struck by enemy shrapnel that went through his backpack, lodged into his razor handle, and saved him from serious injury. His response was to take the shrapnel and mail it home as a souvenir and carry on with the mission. So when I think of Western's culture and our core values of academic excellence, educational opportunity, personal growth, and social responsibility, I think of our unwritten core value, that of grit, perseverance. And I like to think that it started with Colonel Hansen, and more importantly, that it is still present in the hearts and minds of all Leathernecks. So Western veterans, we see you. Our university is stronger because of your influence, and we thank you. Excuse me. You are truly the golden thread woven into our purple tapestry of honor, excellence, and tradition at our university. Okay. And to all the veterans of our great country, we will not allow the passage of time nor the comforts of relative peace to erase the memory of the service and the sacrifices you have made for us. Whether it was our country's independence, ending slavery, 2 world wars, containing communism, fighting the global war on terror, providing relief to disaster areas both home and abroad, or simply preparing for the unknown, we owe our American way of life and the freedoms we enjoy today to you, the veterans who have carried our ideals with them into harm's way. As a country and as Americans, we have always aimed high and dreamed big. When we saw the need for change for the common good and hoped for better days, we will never forget it was the veteran who fought and died during the struggle in pursuit of those dreams and to protect our country, our way of life, and those we love. We had a saying in the military, at least at my unit, that saying goes, we all wear the same patch. And as battalion communications chief, I could go from the commo section, I could go to supply and maybe call in a favor, whether it's working with another individual or units working together, we take care of each other. And of course, when people take care of each other, we say thank you. The response to that wasn't, you're welcome. It was, we all wear the same patch. Okay. So this speaks to the spirit of brotherhood, sisterhood, and loyalty in battle and in peacetime. And we knew that it was understood that we were all on the same team and essential to each other to achieve the mission. So today, as we thank all veterans for their sacrifices and for safeguarding the American dream for all of us to carry, I ask that together we also honor them by recognizing we are all on the same team. And equally crucial to each other as we work together to deliver all that our veterans have given us safely to the next generation. May God bless our veterans, the United States of America, and those who defend it. Thank you. And at this time, we request all to stand or sit still for a moment of silence in memory of the fallen, deployed, or on active duty that cannot be with us today. We encourage you to think of those who are not able to come home before the conclusion of America's longest war, and others who served in such places as Vietnam and Korea and came home and felt forgotten or disrespected. To break the 45 to 60-second moment of silence, taps will be played by Lemuel Johnson.
I'd like to express appreciation for their contribution to this ceremony. Lamille Johnson, who we just heard playing taps, he's from Nassau in the Bahamas. He's a second-year graduate student in trumpet performance and a graduate assistant with the Faculty Brass Quintet under Dr. Bruce Briney. I'd like to thank the Color Guard, Evelyn Ortman, John Smith, Dr. Zogi, Kay Reed, and Tim Halliman. And I'd also like to thank you. Thank you for making this ceremony part of your day and honoring those who have served and are continuing serving and continuing to help us be a military-friendly university and community. Thank you. You're dismissed.